Alright, so I have my wall section that I have created. And this is um, my diffuse map. And I'm just going to talk about bump and specular today. I'm going to talk about stuff you can do within Photoshop. Maybe, no, I'm just going to talk about those today. Um, and we're going to create those maps from this. So bump map gives you height because it's actually affecting the normals of your object. Specular map gives you reflection based upon the non-uniformity of that surface. So let's first of all deal with a bump. So what I'm going to do, adjustments, hue saturation, completely take out the saturation, and then adjustments, I'm going to go to levels. Some people have different ways of doing this. I like using levels. Hat, please. No problem. And I'm going to bring it down to some grays. I may even blur this some. Something like that. Filter. I may use a slight Gaussian blur. We're going to save this as a TIFF, and I'm going to save this as my wall bump. Save, no compression. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to load into my shader. I'm going to select my object, Control A. Now, my Lambert is a Lambert, which means it has diffuse reflections, which means you don't have the like mirrored surfaces or glossy highlights. So what I'm going to do, change the type to a blend, just so we can see the specularity, because in diffuse reflections you will not get specularity. A diffuse reflection will be the carpet that you're standing on or the wall. A um, a direct reflection is a mirrored surface, chrome, anything that you may see yourself in or that you get highlights off of because of light reflecting off of that object. So in the bump map, we're going to create a new render node, file, the bump, in depth. We're going to click on this button here, image name, click on the folder, and bump. Now, my bump has to, the tiling of my bump has to match the tiling of my diffuse. Don't remember what it was, but if I go here, I repeated it 5 times. And I'm going to do the same thing with my bump. Repeat, repeat. So we're repeated 5 times. Now this looks very harsh. So I'm going to click on this button, which is going to go back up the chain till we get to our bump 2D node, and I'm going to change the depth to 0.1 so it's not as harsh. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to create a specular map so that we can deal with specular reflections. I'm going to undo this, and what I'm going to do, hue saturation, I'm going to go back to this. I'm not going to completely desaturate it, but I'm going to bring it down. I don't want grays, but I want it very low saturation. And then what I might need to do is go to levels, and I might have to kind of punch some of this up. And then we go to File, Save As, and I'm going to save it as my spec map. I'm using spec for short. Hit save, image compression none. Alright, well, we have specular color. That's where we're going to place our specular map. Create render node, file, folder, spec, load in my specular map. Then place 2D texture, 5 and 5. And let's create a light just so you can see it. I'm going to create a directional light. I'm going to hit the 7 key. I'm going to scale this light up so you can see it. And the light part is just so you can see actually really see the specularity. Oops. Let me hit the 6 key again. I'm not worried about you creating a light and doing that. I just want you to get the maps in there and working. I'm gonna also, we need to get in the habit of naming our shaders. So I'm gonna leave blend underscore wall matte. And I'm gonna save the scene. It's all.